more than just remember the events surrounding Holy Week, more than reading the corresponding Bible passages, thanking Jesus for his sacrifice on your behalf, or even committing the entire week to meditating on the events that these few days symbolize. My challenge to you is to completely immerse yourself in the greatest story ever told. The problem is that the more familiar you are with the Bible, the more difficult this becomes. Take as an example one of the many things that Jesus did in the days leading up to the cross. After that grand entry on a donkey to crowds shouting Hosanna, Jesus gave his disciples yet another experience that must have dumbfounded them. Matthew chapter 21, verses 18 through 22 says that Jesus was walking one morning and he was hungry. He came upon a fig tree looking forward to a quick snack, but he realized that it had no fruit. He proceeded to look at that tree, leaf-filled but barren of fruit, and cursed it, declaring that it never produced fruit again. In that moment, the tree withered. As you can imagine, this amazed the disciples. Inquiring as to how this happened, Jesus proceeded to tell them that they will be able to do even more amazing things than that, so long as they believe and take their petitions before God. If you've grown up in the church, perhaps you read this story and see a number of truths that Jesus was trying to communicate. Maybe you see the lesson that the power of God in you is an amazing thing. Maybe it's the idea that God desires to see fruit produced in our lives. While these truths are certainly here and are very much important, when all we see are these truths, we miss much more of the text. To immerse yourself in the story, try to get a sense for what the actual people involved were feeling at the time. Can you imagine the shock that the disciples experienced when they saw this tree wither on the spot? Might they have been frightened a bit, seeing Jesus respond in such a way to a tree that simply didn't have fruit? What do you think Jesus felt about the fact that they were surprised, being that he had been telling them for quite some time who he was? The events here, as well as everything else surrounding the death, burial, and resurrection of Jesus, contain deep theological truth. But they are also real events involving real people who all experienced it with real, raw emotion. And it's when we can get just a glimpse of that the text really comes alive. Tonight is our Holy Week family service. This service is designed to walk you through the Passion story in a way that brings the whole thing to life, allowing you to feel what the characters felt and immerse yourself in the greatest few days of human history. We do this by presenting a series of engaging monologues from actors portraying key figures in the story. They will bring the text to life by exposing the raw emotion of everything that happened in the lead up to the resurrection, leaving you feeling more engaged with these events than you ever have before. While this event is geared towards families with kids, everyone will come away having had a fresh encounter with the greatest story ever told. My challenge to you this Easter is to not let it go by without really immersing yourself in the story. When you talk about the significance of what Jesus did around your dinner table, take some time to reflect on what it must have been like for the disciples, Mary, and Jesus. And don't forget to join us tonight at 7 o'clock in the sanctuary to hear from the characters themselves as we become immersed together in the greatest few days this world has ever seen.